Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Strawberry Lily channel. I'm finally live again. And just as a preface, I'm going to be talking about the Yundi concert that I went to last night. Yundi is a famous Chinese pianist. He rose to fame when he became the youngest person ever to win the Chopin competition. I don't know exactly what it's called. Chopin. Yeah, Chopin competition in 2001 when he was 18, which would make him 41 today, which is so crazy. Like, what the actual F? But, ooh. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because for those of you who don't know, I did used to play piano since I was 7 years old, which is actually coincidentally the same age that Yundi started playing piano. Not that there's any comparison whatsoever, don't get me wrong, but okay, let me hold on a second. I feel like the mic. Hello, mic check 1 2 might not be working. You guys let me know if there's any issues with the audio. But yeah, I started playing piano when I was 7, and then I've actually been manifesting this for a long time. So this manifestation, let me tell you, took about 10 damn years to manifest because I don't even remember. Probably like 7 or 8 years ago, I remember that Yundi was doing a tour in China. I think it was like Shanghai or Beijing or one of those cities. And I actually remember asking my dad because I was going to visit my dad during that time. And like I usually fly through Shanghai airport, right? Um, so I asked my dad if he could get Yundi tickets for the upcoming concert so that I could combine, the visit with my dad and my relatives with seeing Yundi. But then, of course, it was sold out by the time that I thought of the idea. So my dad was able to find like scalped tickets being sold on third-party websites. But then at that point, I was like, you know what? I don't want to buy secondhand tickets, so just forget it this time. And I know that Yundi has a pretty big following in Japan as well, so I always just figured he's gonna come to Japan. He's gonna perform in Tokyo eventually. I'll just wait it out. And then after that, COVID happened, right? So, okay, here we go. At that time, we didn't know how long the entire world would be on lockdown. And then in the midst of COVID, the quote unquote scandal happened with apparently there was a I think it was a hit piece. Okay, allegedly, I don't know anything, but the whole news story, the way that it broke, sounds very suspicious. Everyone is kind of in agreement with this, but basically, there were allegations that someone had tipped off the Chinese press that Yundi was either soliciting or getting services from an S worker, which, I mean, I guess prostitution is illegal in China, so maybe that's why it was such a big deal. I feel like it was a setup, just my own opinion, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, because I just don't really I can't imagine like somebody of that status, of that caliber in terms of their celebrity status to be so careless, right? Regardless of whatever he's into, none of us know the man personally, so I can't speak to that, but I just can't imagine somebody of his stature would be so careless as to do that. Like if, let's say, hypothetically, he wanted to get such services, I'm sure that the Yundi Li has like other ways that would not get him in trouble with Chinese law, if you know what I'm saying. And also, he tours around the world a lot for his job, obviously, as a concert pianist. So it's just nothing about the story, nothing about the scandal makes sense to me. And that seems to be the consensus of most people that Yundi was set up for some reason, because this is not the first person that the Chinese government has done something like this to. I wouldn't know personally the motivations. Some people are saying that it's political, which again, I don't know anything personally about Yundi's political affiliations or even his views. He's a very quiet person. I feel like even at the height of his fame, like, I never really heard anything other than, you know, other than what he was doing professionally, right? Like, going around and performing, and I guess he was kind of involved in the celebrity circles, so to speak, which was I don't know if it's strange, or I don't know, it's kind of it was a little bit novel for someone like him from the classical music world, I guess, that he was mingling with the pop stars, so to speak, of the time. So, like, for example, he was friends with Wanli Home back in the day, which, by the way, side tangent, but I just never got the hype with Wanli Home. Like, I'm not a fan of Wanli Home. And I feel like there was that whole with him, there was that real scandal with his wife or ex-wife about how basically he cheated on her like every chance that he could. He's a serial cheater and it seems like an sex addict. We're talking about Wanli Home right now. So, and also I just like I don't think personally that he's attractive at all. I don't see the hype. Okay, but maybe I don't know. Apparently Wanli Home is like mixed with some sort of European or Caucasian blood. He's not fully Chinese or he's not fully Taiwanese. Is he Taiwanese? I don't know anything. I don't know much about him clearly, but no, I think he's Taiwanese. And I didn't even know that he was like mixed until a couple years ago. But yeah, I'm not a fan of that guy. So I do think it's kind of strange that Yundi was like BFF with him for a time. I don't know if they are still friends, but anyway, there was a lot of rumors. Okay. There was a lot that I probably also missed because I think in order to really understand the extent of like the rumors and the background, you would have to read the actual Chinese news and entertainment blog sources, which I cannot do. So yeah. Anyway, I say all that to say that I have been manifesting this for a long time, like being able to see Yundi live in concert. And after that scandal broke, I was like, oh god, here we go. How many I never knew, so there was never a doubt in my mind that he would have a comeback because the thing is Yundi is actually really talented and I don't believe that you can cancel real talent. So let me expound on that a little bit because when I say talent, I don't necessarily mean just the traditional forms of talent that we think about, such as, well, in Yundi's case, in this case, he is actually like a literal piano prodigy. So he's a good example of that classic definition of what we considered someone who is super talented. Another example would be like, an Olympic medalist, right? An Olympic athlete, or yeah, like any type of the traditional performing arts, music, acting, sports, that kind of thing. Or if you're like a pioneer, a titan of industry like an Elon Musk, right? Which I'm not really a fan of him, but you can't deny that the man has a lot of vision and the ability to execute on that vision. So that would be considered also more of the traditional type of talent. But I think this day and age, in the social media age, I consider talent to be basically anything that is able to generate and keep people's attention, to attract and keep people's attention. Because as we all know, attention is currency, and where attention goes is where money flows. So whether you like it or not, I feel like the new definition of talent, the new logical definition that fits the world that we live in now would be anything, if you are good at doing anything that sustains, that attracts the attention of a large amount of people and is able to, and if you are able to sustain that attention, like keeping it over a long period of time, then I feel like you are basically uncancelable in today's climate. Not saying that I agree or disagree. This is just the system that we live in now. This is how the machine is set up. So, like, for example, if you think of somebody really controversial, like Donald Trump, right? People were having like literal meltdowns. People were getting divorced. I remember I had some personal friends. Okay, well, I won't put their business out on the internet like this without their consent, but like I knew people who were literally having arguments, like real potentially marriage threatening arguments with their spouses over Donald Trump running for presidency and then eventually winning the first time. And like now we are, how many years out is it? I don't even know. But now it's a whole different ball game, right? It's like there's not that, I mean, sure, there's still people that are very against Trump, but there's not that hatred and vitriol and like complete, outrage that there was the first time that he ran. Now he's become a mainstay and he's not going anywhere because he knows how to, again, draw and keep that attention on him for better or for worse. And so I would say that that's a talent, right? Anyway, where was I going with all of this? Yeah, so I believe that Yundi is one of those people, because he's kind of like, okay, we're a few years out, right? He's already 41 at this point, but I don't know if people forget that at the time when he won the Chopin competition, he was the youngest person in history. And I think people forget sometimes how much of a, not just celebrity, he was like literally an icon. He was and is an icon at the time, and especially, in terms of PR for China, it was on the level of like way that K-pop is now for Korea in terms of like this is one of the Yundi Li is one of China's biggest exports in terms of the whole soft power persuasion thing. So, yeah, I think people forget that sometimes because no, like, it was a huge deal. I don't know if you guys anyone here who is, into classical music or piano music, I don't know if you remember back in the day, he was literally everywhere. He even appeared in a commercial with Taylor Swift, who I'm also not a fan of, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of the circles that he was running with, Yundi Lee was basically the highest that you could get, right? In the entertainment, not just in the entertainment industry. Again, I feel like he was an icon. He's kind of like, I would go as far as to say a national treasure because it's not just like the entertainment or that he put out or the media that he appeared in. It's the fact that his like monumental moment with winning that award at such a young age, it kind of catapulted an entire generation of young Chinese kids to start learning piano, or whether it was them or their parents pushing them to learn, but it started this whole wave in China of like parents sending their kids to piano lessons or any other classical instruments, and that being seen more as a viable path out of poverty or out of, into a better class, into better living conditions. Whereas up until then, I feel like it was more limited to it was even I mean, it's still limited these days, to be honest, even with social media and everything that we have, just because of the sheer amount of competition. But back in the day, it was like there were really only a select few paths that you could choose to go if you wanted to have a fighting chance at some sort of a decent, like middle to upper class life if you were part of the Chinese masses, right? So up until that point, it was mostly just either through education and also through connections, like it's no secret that there's a lot of corruption that goes along in Chinese society because again, this is like out of my wheelhouse because you would have to go into a whole history lesson and sociology and all of that. But I feel like with Yundi, like his impact on it like broadened the horizons for the next generation of Chinese people that wanted to that wanted to gain some new opportunity for themselves that wasn't necessarily limited to just academics or politics or something, right? It was like it, it gave hope to the nation that you can pursue something flowery like art and still make it somehow, right? Or at the very least, you can gain a little tiny small fraction, a little like a microcosm of that type of prestige for yourself in whatever circles that you run with. So he's a really impactful figure, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, the more I think about it, the more fishy it seems, the whole scandal that they allegedly reported that he was in back in the day. I have the Wikipedia page right now, actually. I don't know why I don't just read off of it because I think it was basically proved later on that um, it was kind of a setup. Like, the United States Department of Justice got involved in this whole scandal. So let me just read you what it says. It says that Yundi was detained by Beijing police for allegedly hiring an S worker. Under Chinese law, Yundi could be detained for up to 15 days and fined up to 5,000 yuan for illegally soliciting an S worker. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Chinese Musicians Association declared that it would revoke Yundi's membership subsequently. So this seems like, okay, very interesting, very convenient. Seems like that might have been somebody's goal in the first place, is to get him, like, stripped of all of his credibility and awards and whatever in his home country. Jeremy Cohen, a New York University law professor specializing in Chinese law, called the lack of transparency about this case concerning, noting that prostitution is a time-honored Communist Party claim against political opponents. And according to The Guardian, there has thus far been no evidence that indicates the detention is politically motivated. Okay, so there's no evidence that it's politically motivated, but then on March 16th, 2022, the United States Department of Justice released a document that includes a detail suggesting the derogatory information regarding the pianist may have been manufactured. And multiple news sources reported that the pianist is an apparent reference to Yundi Li. I need to learn Chinese, I think, basically, is what I'm getting out of this, because I feel like that entire paragraph was a nothing burger in terms of information. Like, it just went around in circles. But I just think it's crazy that why was the US Department of Justice involved unless they have some sort of, unless they suspected for real that there was foul play. So I feel like they gave us a nothing burger, and like they actually cannot release any details whatsoever because that would cause them a lot of problems with the Chinese government, right? But the fact that they got involved in the first place, I feel like speaks volumes. And anyway, that's not even the point of this video, because I just wanted to talk about, like, finally, after freaking 7 or 8 years, I finally manifested Yundi coming to Tokyo, because I knew that he wasn't gonna be canceled forever. China is not the only, I mean, I'm sure it was, like, very emotionally distressing for him to have that happen. Whether it was true or not, it is really not related to, like, what he does on stage, which is play piano. And yeah, it's not like he stabbed or killed someone. But anyway, so his audience is not only in China. Yundi is well known worldwide. So I knew he was going to be fine. Like, at worst, he could just move overseas. I think he lives in Hong Kong now, actually. I'm not sure. Maybe that's old news. But yeah, like, you're not going to cancel Yundi, is what I thought immediately when that went down. But I knew that it was going to delay him coming to Japan, at least for who knows how long. So finally, the wait is over, and I went to where was it? I went to Kodaira. I have no idea where that is. I thought that I could just transfer at Shinjuku, but apparently, I thought I could transfer at Shinjuku Station, but there's actually another station in Shinjuku called Seibu Shinjuku Station on the Seibu line. And that was literally like 15 minutes walk away from Shinjuku Station, which I was not anticipating. So I got there like a little bit later than I anticipated. The doors were scheduled to open at 6:30. Here, I have it. Oh, actually, this is not the info for the concert I went to. This is the future dates next year in Tokyo. So I feel like, so he's coming back on the second leg of a Japan tour, if I understand correctly, because I assume he's not going to stay here the whole time, right? It's only October. Like, I assume he's not going to stay for October, November, December, and January. He's probably going to leave and then come back. But yeah, I'm contemplating going to this one on the 8th because it's being held in the Minato Mirai Hall, which is a beautiful, like, philharmonic concert hall. That's the actual setting. Like, I feel like that's the best setting that you want to be in if you want to witness any type of classical concert or performance. But this time the only one that I could make it to was the one that he held in Kodaira in Tokyo, and I wasn't really impressed with the concert space, to be honest with you. It was a little bit small and cramped. But then again, there's like plus and minus sides to everything. So with a smaller venue, it does feel more intimate. Like you do get to see the artist a little bit closer up than you would get to if it was like some huge concert hall that holds 5,000 people or something, right? Or 10,000 people. I actually don't know what the capacity of the Minato Mirai Hall is, but I just know that that entire area is beautiful. So the Yokohama Minato Mirai Concert Hall must be amazing as well. And I was just looking at pictures the other day, and yeah, it looks spectacular. I used to study in Minato Mirai actually when I went to this 10-month intensive Japanese program. It was for like business Japanese. This was way back when I first came to Tokyo in 2012, 2013. But yeah, so I wasn't like that impressed with the venue this time. It was just at kind of like a community center. But yeah. So they gave us this flyer. And then they had like a merch stand, which I didn't even like. I was stressed, okay? Because like I told you, I wasn't anticipating the train transfer to take that long. So the doors open at 6:30 p.m., but he was scheduled to start performing at 7 p.m. So I was on the train, like the train, I was able to make the transfer that would get to Kodaira station by 7 no, by 6:56, which means that I would have had like 3 minutes to book it from the station to the concert venue, which said that it was like it said it was a very short walk from the station, but I just didn't want to be late because I felt like, yeah, I haven't, come to think of it, I haven't been to a classical music concert or like any type of a classical piano performance in a while. And so I didn't know what to expect. I was frantically looking up on the train, like, what happens if you're late to a piano concert? Can you go in late? Is it rude? Like, are they going to hold you outside the doors until the whatever piece the artist is playing is over and then you can go in during the intervals? But luckily, it turns out that I got to the station, yeah, just before 7. I made it to the concert hall at 7:05, and there were still people kind of lining up and filing in. So the actual start time of the performance turned out to be 7:15, which I think is very reasonable, right? That's not bad, both for the artist and also the people that may have had a little trouble getting there, like me. And also, it was raining that day, so I was kind of hoping that that would delay everything too and slow people down. So yeah, I made it to my seat on time. I was sitting on the second row in no, I was sitting on the second floor, like the balcony tier in the first row. Which gave me a really good view of the entire stage. There was like a little bar on the balcony that kind of blocked my view a little bit, but all I had to do was sit up a little straighter and I could see. Yeah, it was good. But okay, can I be honest? This is not a criticism or anything because, like, obviously, who am I? I'm not a I'm not a piano critic. I'm just happy that I got to see Yundi live, and this is not a criticism. Okay, I don't care even if he did make mistakes, but I feel like I couldn't help but feel like he kept making mistakes in the first half of the program. Maybe I just don't understand Mozart. I feel like 99% probability that is just the case, right? But I just feel like it wasn't any glaring mistakes. It wasn't like he never stopped, obviously, in the middle of the performance. But I just felt like, I don't know. Again, maybe I just don't understand Mozart. Probably most likely that's the case. But it just felt like once in a while he would slightly mispress the keys. Like I could hear a little bit of discord. And I don't care even if he makes mistakes, but it got to the point where I couldn't really just sit back and enjoy the flow of the music, right? I was starting to feel like anxious about, ooh, when is the next mistake going to be? Or like, I hope that he doesn't make another mistake. I hope it's smooth sailing from now on. That was what was kind of distracting to me in the first half. And again, to be honest, I didn't really enjoy the songs in the first half as much. So that could also be the actual underlying issue here. Maybe I just didn't enjoy the songs, but maybe Yundi actually played them the way that they were supposed to sound, according to Mozart's sensibilities. But anyway, by the time that we had a brief intermission, and then by the time that we came back for the second act or the second half of the performance, I enjoyed those songs a lot better. Like, because I felt like, and I also felt like he played a little better in the second half. Maybe he was, just like getting used to the piano and loosening up his fingers, because I can totally relate to that. Not that I've ever played any real concerts, but I've done piano recitals and stuff before, right? And it is a thing. Like, I'm sure somebody like Yundi, whoever's practicing for a real concert, I'm sure that if they get a chance, they'll go in before the actual concert. Like, they'll go in the days before the concert actually starts and test out their fingers and the pieces on the piano that they know they're going to be performing on. But then again, like, I don't know in this case, because I feel like he's just jumping around all over the place. Like, he was just in Osaka, and how many days would he have had in Tokyo to even prepare? I feel like there was only one day between when he was in Osaka and when he flew to, or if he took the bullet train, I don't know the mode of transportation, to Tokyo, then he would have really only had time to just do a very perfunctory check of, like, do all the keys work properly. But every piano feels different, right, is what I'm trying to say. So I think that's totally normal, and it's something that every pianist has to deal with. Even the pros, you just can't control it, right? Because every piano really does feel different. Like, your piano that you practice on at home is not going to feel the same as whatever they have available in the venue that you perform in. So yeah, I felt like by the second half, it seemed like his fingers were more acclimated to the piano in that particular hall, and everything sounded really smooth. And I kind of forgot about, like, all my worries and my anxiety about, like, I didn't have to worry about if he was gonna make a mistake. This sounds so silly. I understand. Like, Yundi Li does not need me to worry about if he's gonna make a mistake or not during his performance. And those are all obviously, like, all the pieces are really difficult anyway. So again, it could just be my amateur ears not being able to understand the genius that is being interpreted. But yeah, it was good. It was a little bit, like, shorter than I thought. I don't know. Again, that's just how most classical performances are. Like, that's just the art form. It's not going to be like a rock concert or some sort of modern style pop concert where they have a bunch of instruments and stuff and people dancing on stage. It's classical music, right? So you're really there. You're supposed to just enjoy the raw music, like the raw sounds of the piano and the way that the acoustics work in that particular hall. And there's no amps or speakers, right? It's just the piano. I mean, there's, like, I don't know what exactly they do, but they have certain installations that they put inside the hall to make sure that it that the music can, like, reach to the end, to the back of the hall. But yeah, there's no, like, modern day amps or speakers or anything that helps amplify the sound. And yeah, it was kind of short. The pauses between the songs were really short as well. I feel like he, like, once in a while he would stand up and take a bow after the end of a really long piece, but I think, like, in between pieces, or maybe I forget what it's called. Is that what a sonata is? Is it like broken into three pieces? I feel like there's a word for when there is basically, like, three separate songs, but they kind of all fit within the same series, right? So in between those, he would, like, pause. He would do, like, the flourish at the end, and then we would be holding our breath, like, do we clap? Or is he gonna continue? But then usually, like, one brave person would start the clap, so then everyone would follow clapping. But then right after we would done clapping, he would just go back into playing the next piece. So I don't really see how yeah, I'm glad that it started at 7:15, okay? Like, I'm glad that basically I was able to make it to my seat on time because I don't see how anyone could have entered, like, in between songs it at this particular concert because he didn't really stop to take a breath ever until the intermission, of course. But yeah, I only had 2,000 yen cash on me because I was just not prepared that day, apparently. So I really wanted to buy this pamphlet that they had. It was like a limited edition kind of pamphlet slash book thing, soft cover, but it was kind of thick. So I wanted to buy it because it was limited edition for this Japan tour. But that one was 3,000 yen and they only accepted cash. So I had to go for the towel, which was 2,000 yen, which is the only cash that I had left in my wallet at the time. And I feel like, I mean, I don't mind a blanket, but I feel like it's kind of pointless because I don't know. This one doesn't even have his face or anything on it. It literally is just a printout of the title of the tour. Yundi plays Mozart, Japan, the Sonata Project Japan Tour, 2024 and 2025. Okay, wait. Sorry, the camera is like flipped. So, but yeah. Okay, so this was like pre-planned the whole time for him to do performances in October and January. Because I thought at first, I don't know why I thought that like maybe he added extra dates just because the ones for October sold out so quickly. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still if I want to go to the Minato Mirai one, the one on the 8th of January, I would have to get the ticket like right now because that's the other thing. The really good seats are already gone. Like they still have seats in the first section. So, you know, they have different like sections of the concert hall. So the first section where like the very first row of all the seats in the entire concert hall, those sections, the sections that those rows belong to still have open seats, but they're more like in the back. So I don't know. That's another thing that I was kind of like, I kind of don't agree with their pricing system for the seats because they only have three different types of seats, like three levels, right? There's a 9,000 yen ticket, 11,000 yen, and then 13,000, which is how much my ticket cost for this past concert. I'm assuming because, like, even though I was on the second floor, I was the first row in the second floor, so I had a clear view of the performance, right? But I feel like it's not really, I don't know, it doesn't really make sense to me because I don't think that that seat, even though I had a clear view, I don't think that my seat in the first row on the second floor has the same value as like the first seat in the first floor. You know what I mean? Like the first row in the first floor. But as far as the ticket price, those two seats are the same. I understand that obviously they cannot adjust, they can't customize the price according to every single seat in the venue, but I just thought that that was a little bit like too much of a difference for me if you're going to charge that much for a seat, you know? But anyway, that's my fault for not being quick enough, right? That's why people like wait and count down the seconds until the tickets go on sale so that they can get the best seats. So, what I'm trying to say is that there are some decent seats left still for the January 8th concert, and I'm just trying to decide if I want to go or not. I'm probably going to end up going cuz like I said, this manifestation took way too long and I'll be damned if I don't see it out to completion. Because that's what I do. I like to close the loops on my manifestations. And it's just, it feels nice, you know? You're tying everything up with a pretty bow. And also, it's so funny because, like, obviously, I'm very happy that I got to see Yundi live. But I remember the moment that he walked out on the stage, I felt literally nothing, which As somebody who has been studying manifestation and doing it for so many years now, I know now that that's exactly how you're supposed to feel, okay, at the time when the manifestation actually manifests, because it's the whole idea of this thing should feel normal to you. This should feel like an everyday occurrence to you. So, yeah, I guess that's what it felt like to me. I didn't like my heart didn't flutter or anything. I just felt, for lack of a better word, numb. Not that numb necessarily means anything bad, but I just felt like, "Oh, okay, it's here, finally." Like, that took way too long. Um, but it wasn't all Yundi's fault. It was like we had COVID and stuff, so nobody can really control that. I will say Yundi is very cute in person, like, very cute, very demure. Oh my god, I feel kinda sad because I must admit to you, I am a little bit sick of that phrase by now. Yeah, I'm over it. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it's a little bit ad nauseum at this point. I'm kind of done with the whole demurity craze. No, but I mean, speaking of the definition of demure and cute though, Uni is very cute in person, like cute, cute, not hot, just really cute, and he looks exactly the same as he does in pictures and in videos. Very gracious. They don't call him the Prince of Piano for nothing. But yeah, it's very like not personable, you because literally all he does is go out there and play his pieces and then take a few bows. And then, at the end, especially people bum rushed to the stage. I guess like the classical concert version of a mosh, as close that you of a mosh pit, as close as you can get to that is the people in the first sections, like right in front of the stage. They will give bouquets and flowers and presents and stuff. So he got showered with like a lot of presents this time. But he doesn't really he said like one thing in Chinese. I think he said I don't remember what it was actually. I think it was either, oh my god, I can't even remember. This is how detached I am from the whole thing now. But no, I think it was at the end before his encore, right? And then people were like scrambling to the front to hand him his flowers or the flowers that they brought for him. And then I think he said something like "后面还有," like there's don't worry, there's going to be an encore or something like that in Chinese to people. But that's the only thing that he said. And then, he came out and played the encore, and then people clapped more, they gave him more presents, and then he just left, and that was it. And I kinda hung around because, like, I saw from some of his posts of the previous concerts that he did in Osaka, and I think there was also one in Sapporo. I saw that there were like, he posted clips, this is on his official Instagram page, of himself signing autographs. Um, After the concerts. So I didn't know if that was gonna happen at this one. Like, I had a feeling no, because there was no, like, announcement or anything about it, so I kinda had a feeling that that was just the end of it. So I hung around for about 5 to 10 minutes just to wait and see, and then I was like, "Okay, sorry, this is not worth it. Sorry, Yundi, I am gonna go home now." And, yeah. And then I checked, like, online later, and he didn't post anything about signing autographs at the Kodaira concert, so I didn't miss anything, basically. I think, like, I saw one person post a picture of him getting in his car or something, which, yeah, I wouldn't wanna that's not something I'm interested in. I don't wanna film people, like, getting in and out of their cars or, try to film celebrities get Oh, that's another thing that kind of annoyed me. So they, I'm annoyed with both sides about this actually because the venue obviously was holding up signs and like making it very clear in their rules, the policy printout that they gave everyone, that you are not supposed to film anything, you're not supposed to take out your cell phone, like put everything on silent mode, put everything on mute, turn it off even if you can during the performance so that you're not causing a distraction, because obviously this is the regular etiquette of a classical concert. But On the flip side, you're not gonna be able to tell people to not take pictures of Yundi Li. Like, it's just not gonna happen. So, obviously, people took pictures or they, snuck pictures whenever they could. Most people didn't do anything during the actual performance though, which was good, but the girl that was sitting next to me, she was literally I know for a fact that she was filming, like, every single part of the performance. Because in Japan, the, camera when you use your camera, the there's a sound that plays when you press the record button, and you cannot turn that sound off in Japan on your phone. So you can make it I think, like, outside of Japan, it's silent, right? Or you can make it silent, but in Japan, even if your phone is on silent, it will still make a sound whenever you record or when you take a picture. Here, I can do it right now. It will make that camera flash sound. Oh, okay, sorry. That was a live photo, but if you turn live off, then it'll make, like, that flash sound. And then if you take a video, that's the sound when you press record, and when you stop, it makes the same sound. So she kept doing that, like, throughout the entire performance. Like, she would not this is the thing. I feel like, okay, if you're gonna film she put her phone down, face downwards on her lap, so she was only filming the audio. However, obviously, since it's Japan and since our phones are set up this way, like, obviously everyone can hear that you're pressing record and pressing stop a bunch of times throughout the performance. She was, like, stopping it at the end of every song, and I just feel like, okay, if you're gonna record if you must absolutely record, I don't even blame you because it's Yundi, but can you just record the whole thing through without stopping then? Right? Because she had her charger as well. So she had her phone plugged into her charger. So if you really cannot help yourself, why not just record the entire performance? That way you're not pressing the on and off button and, like, making that noise repeatedly throughout the entire performance. That was very annoying to me, and that's one thing that, like, because there's a lot of Chinese people, obviously, at the concert, but there's a lot of Japanese people too, 'cause classical music, like, piano is a huge thing in every Asian country, honestly. So, but obviously there was a lot of actual Chinese fans because that's where Yundi is from, so it's just kind of like I don't wanna say embarrassing, but it just kinda makes me roll my eyes because it doesn't do anything to help, like, our image here in Japan. So, yeah. But on the other hand, I felt like it's just shogunai, right? It's something that can't be helped. Like, you really cannot expect people that paid good money to come see Yundi Li. We've all been waiting forever for this moment. So, when I talk about my manifestation, this is actually not even just my manifestation. Like, there's a lot of people that have been waiting for Yundi to come to Tokyo for a long time. I saw people writing on social media that, "Oh, this is the first time in 10 years that I've been able to see you play again," or the first time in 15 years, like, "I've been waiting so long to hear you live." So, how you gonna expect people to not take at least, like, one little video or one shot, you know? I obviously, I didn't take any pictures. I didn't take any recordings during the actual performance because I just feel like that's missing the point of the entire experience. Like, I came there to hear it live, and it's supposed to be a moment in time, and that's the whole art of live performance, right? But I definitely pulled out my phone, like, at the end when he was receiving all his flowers and stuff. Because come on, how are you gonna stop people from doing that? Yeah, so anyway, not a fan of that venue. Also, I feel like if I go to the next, performance in January, I'll be honest, a huge part of my motivation is that I just wanna be able to wear my outfit again. one more time. So I wore this like lavender dress and it was really cute if I do say so myself. It matches my eyeshadow, which yes, I slept in because I was just so exhausted when I got home yesterday that I didn't take off my makeup. Oh well, it happens sometimes. But yeah, I don't want to waste this outfit. I mean, obviously I can wear it just to non piano related events as well, but I just want to wear this exact outfit again because I feel like, you know, if I'm going to go watch a piano recital, I would go in something that I would wear if I was performing on the piano, if that makes sense. I'm trying to stay on theme, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to get a towel at least. Um, Maybe I could get the pamphlet if I go to the Minato Mirai performance on January 8th. But yeah, Yundi is very cute in person. Very, very cute. You can't cancel people who are cute and talented. It's just not going to happen. And with that, I leave you. I'm trying to think. Did I miss anything? I need to film a Kate makeup review, and I want to talk about another topic in another live about how to achieve big goals by using baby steps, which is not a novel concept. It's nothing new, but I believe that I have a fresher, more applicable take to it that could help some of you, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed with some huge goals that you have in your life, or maybe you are just very unhappy with whatever situation you're in right now and you know where you want to get to, but it just seems like so far apart, so far away, so many worlds apart from where you are right now that you don't even know where to start. Don't worry, I got you in my next live with this new subject about, yeah, how to achieve bigger goals through baby steps. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I do in order to break things down into actionable steps. And it's gonna, if you apply this exactly the way that I say, it's gonna be one of those things where before you know it, you're gonna achieve what you wanted to achieve, right? But yeah, that will be. I will get into the whole nitty gritty in my next live stream. So thanks for joining me. I just wanted to talk about, you know, one of my personal manifestations because I mean, I'm manifesting all the time, but this was one of the bigger ones that just seemed like I didn't know how long it was going to take, to be honest, because after the whole COVID thing and the prostitution scandal and all of that, I wasn't sure how long it was going to take him to. Is he banned from performing in China or something? Because I feel like that's just so unfair that they stripped him of whatever like status that he had in China. What was it called? Because I feel like that's for whatever reason or whoever was motivated to plant this story. Yeah, Chinese Musicians Association subsequently declared that it would revoke Yundi's membership. So they stripped him of the membership of the Chinese Musicians Association. But he's still the youngest person to ever win the Chopin competition, though, and that one is international. So how you gonna cancel the cancelable? I don't like it. I don't like this whole agenda, whether it's true or not. What does it have to do with, his accomplishments as a piano and the contributions that he's made to the art over the years? And he's also made a lot of he's also like personally contributed to a lot of developments in piano education, music education for, like, disadvantaged youth and things like that in China and elsewhere, like, in Tibet to Tibetan children. I'm just reading off of Wikipedia, so I don't understand. Anyway, Yundi is my favorite pianist, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that already or if it's self-evident from this stream, but yeah, Yundi is my favorite because he's the prince of piano, you know? He has that romantic flair. That's why, I mean, let's be real, the looks are also a part of it, but the whole like, his whole image is he's just kind of the whole package, right? He has the image, he has the actual romantic flair, and he's still very, very, all things considered, very low key. Like, we barely know anything about his private life. I think that is by design, and I respect that a lot. And yeah, I'm a romantic girly, so obviously I'm gonna prefer the romantic interpretations of all of these songs. Because trust me, I have listened to Yundi and Long Long and, like, a couple other people. I don't even remember their names, to be honest, but I listened to them play their pieces, or I've listened to them play the same pieces, like, without looking at them, obviously. I'm just judging on sound, and I do prefer Yundi's style better. It's just more, again, like, romantic, eloquent, aristocratic, if you will. So, I think that's definitely part of his whole appeal. And I think he deserves all of the success in this tour. And I'm gonna try my best to make it to the January 8th show. And I'm sorry if I seem, like, very distracted right now because there is some shit going down, in relation to work, but I don't even wanna get into it, and I don't wanna give it more energy than it deserves, so we'll just leave that at that for now. Yeah, I will see you in my next video. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.